mom's friends. I would watch this. Everybody's talking about all this rent protection and the lack thereof rent protection, right?
right.
And when we talk about the lack of rent protection, we're talking about a lot of people who are going to be indeed losing rent and mortgage protection, but people who are going to lose their homes when they can't pay for the things that are, that are building up now, right? So they might give them a forbearance, they might give them a little bit of wiggle room right now, but we're talking about 3-4 months from now, right, Greeland?
Yes, sir.
The reason why they're not saying they're going to give, and this is anecdotal, and these are from my own thoughts and my own research, and so I'd have to put it together more structurally to make it a little more than an antidote, but I would encourage anybody to go look it up. But the reason why they are so loose on certain things, as far as rent forgiveness, they don't want to totally forgive it because a lot of politicians make their money in real estate, both sides of the aisle. Oh, Greenland. And so when we're talking about why aren't they, what about these people that aren't going to be able to pay their rent? And we're already seeing stories about certain landlords and people adding on to their people's rent already, or telling them you're going to have to pay double or 3 times the rent. And there's really not been no talk about it because they all making money from that. Of course, they're not going to talk about it. Go ahead, Greenland.
I really wish I could have had my sister on the line with this conversation you have right now, because she's a landlord and she's a realtor and she's a bank financer for real estate. And when she told me 2 days ago, she's almost in tears. She told me that the state of California is going to make them roll their rent prices back about 25 to 50%, and then they're going to give the people a holiday not to pay it, and they're going to tell them that the people are going to pay them back later on. They're going to figure out a way for them to pay the rent later. Meanwhile, the landlords that own this real estate still have to make payments on it. Imagine that.
Yeah, that's my point. Somebody got to look. The landlord's got to pay, and that's funny too, because even with the ones that they're rolling back and they're going to give a forgiveness, Greenland, I read that they're going to have to pay it back. It's just going to be delayed. Some payments are going to be put on the end of people's lease or their time with their mortgage. Some people will get a short amount of time, but everybody's going to have to pay it. I haven't read anything about total forgiveness. So California is giving total forgiveness?
Let me ask you, no, they're not giving they're saying that the landlords are going to get the money back, but they're not putting any guarantees of protection in, because the people can bounce. They can say, all right, I'm out, I'm bouncing. You know how hard it is to collect
here, let's do a gentleman's bet. They will put some type of protection in there for landlords at the end of the day, because a lot of them make money in real estate. Right now, that's why they're not giving total forgiveness, because they can just say, you know what, we're going to look, we already breaking the bank. So we're going to break it some more, and we're just going to pay everybody rent and mortgage for the next month. Give everybody at least 1 month. The banks will love it. The banks will get their money. The people will be able to help them shelter at home and have some less worry. And then, we're going to be paying it later, as far as the deficit and people's taxes and stuff anyway. We already paying for stuff. They can do it. They don't want to. They want you to have to pay that. You're going to pay that. I'm telling you. I was looking up politicians, and a lot of millions a year on real estate. That's why we see so little articulates. We see so little conversation about the real estate end of it. We hear all about the stock market, but the stock market is something that's more easily maneuvered in and out of. Know that they could just let me sell these, but 20 acres is a little different. You see?
Absolutely, I'm with you 100%. But the thing about it, though, what I'm trying to say is, my sister, she's got a lot of legal background with landlord structure and court battle with attorneys and stuff. And let me tell you something. She told me it's going to be impossible for landlords to collect. Now, they got a big petition, and they're scheduled for a bus ride, a plane ride, or whatever over to D.C. to march about this whole thing, too.
Really?
Because they're saying there's a lot. Yeah, she belongs to a coalition of realtors, of all ethnicities, and they're up in arms about this because they know they're going to get the shot, because the government really cannot make people who are unable to pay for something like this pay for something like this.
Wow. That's gonna be interesting. Hey, greet in here. Let's do this. Let me get the last word from you to break at the top of the hour. I got some other callers I'm gonna get to after the break. I see you got callers. I'm gonna get right to you. Greenland, give us your final word. Give us your final word. Or if you would like, because I know you have some things on your mind and I know you're not done. If you could call back after the next caller after the break, because I don't want to just put you on hold, or I can put you on hold because I would like to hear what else you got on your mind, and I'm gonna transition into something else you might be interested in. But you want to hold or you want to call back?
I can hold on, brother. I ain't got nothing to do. I'm free as a bird.
Absolutely, there. Matter of fact, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick break, and you know, I'm gonna pick up the phone and talk to the caller and make sure it's all good. We're not just looking over you. We want to make sure everybody have their time. This is Soapbox Heroes. My name is Tyrone Irvin. We'll be right back right after this.
So you've been looking for a professional tax.
Tony, what's going on? You late? It's cool. This is the second feed. For some reason, the last one, the camera just went blank. The camera just went blank. Partnerships, corporations, nonprofits, estates and trusts, and he offers audit representation before. Yeah, I'm about to get into it. I want to get into it all the time coming up in politics. This person didn't pay attention. This person didn't take it seriously. So we're going to see before they try to tell us something that we already know. Or so they don't tell us something we don't know. We're going to be ahead on the information. Mad scientist. What's up, Delvin? Hey, you coming on tomorrow? I figured out a way to do some things. I'm going to have to call you. Delvin, the expert. What's going on with you, man?
713-775-3661. Fillet bone crawfish. Them crawfish good, yes, yeah. We
Them
deliver
crawfish
10 pounds
good,
and
yes,
more.
yeah.
Prices based on the
I want some
market.
crawfish.
Have you dropped your denture or partial and cracked it? Has a tooth fallen off? No need to wait 2 or 3 days for a repair. At Sunnyside Dental, we have an in-house dental lab. In most cases, we can fix that denture or partial while you wait. That's right. Same day denture repairs while you wait. Call Sunnyside Dental, 713-738-1999.
So what's going on? What you got?
713-738-1999. Let's get that denture fixed because you know what?
Yeah,
and not go to church.
Delvin, they talking about opening it back up.
Hello, this is Fred Hoyer coming to you from Bayway Lincoln, your Lincoln dealer for the last
They
24
gonna open
years.
it back
But
up.
service
You
is
ready?
key. Bayway
The
and
more
Fred
people
Hoyer,
come
winning
out,
tradition for
the
24
more
years. So
I'm
call
going
Fred
to
Hoyer
stay
today.
in. I still don't trust it.
281-929-6500. 281-929-6500 for your next new or pre-owned car from Bayway
Oh,
Lincoln.
I don't trust
Credit, bad credit. Your job is your credit. Give me a call. That's 281-929-6500.
We almost
Fred. Bayway
So
Lincoln make
look,
it happen
how
this
come
year.
people are saying the only people protesting are white people? I said at first they said it was only black people.
And the new aviator
And now people are saying it's
called
only
Fred
white
Hoyer
people.
today.
I'm like, no, it's all kinds of people that don't agree with this. There's all kinds of people out there right now that's protesting. It's not just one race of people. That's what they want you to think. At all times, everything is one race of people. People are protesting globally.
2,6500 Bayway Lincoln, a part of the Bayway Auto Group.
And $500 in the sixes, late sixes, that's more than
I'm
you
about to
make in
get
a month
into it.
or two. And so I think it was $1.25 minimum wage after they ran it from 75 cents. So that was a lot of money. A lot of blacks went up there and they got that shot of like Charlie.
Wow, really?
Oh yeah.
This is fascinating. And so, let me. So yeah, this y'all getting back in the public. What's going on currently? Because I'm gonna stay home. The more people go out, the more I'm gonna stay in. I had a reverse strategy going on. I said, well, since I'm essential and I got to get out there and I got to work while everybody's at home, when everybody else start coming back out, I'm going back in.
You know, they kind of movie and they can't get rid of it. You know.
12:30 the source. We are back. We are back. We are back. Yeah, you guys. So I got some people on the line. I got my man Greeland on the line, but I want to get to another caller before we get back to my main man Greeland. And here, let me see. Let me do it like this. 12:30 the source. Caller, what's on your mind?
Hey, these bills are piling up over here, man.
What's piling up?
I say these bills are piling up.
Ooh, them bills.
I need to get off this vacation, man.
Ooh, them bills. Look, let me ask you this. If there wasn't a need for money, if we didn't have the monetary needs, the needs that we have, do you think that people would be in a rush to end the quarantine?
Yeah.
You think so? Now, I do think there's a group of people out there that'll just say, hey, you're infringing on my freedoms as a citizen. You're infringing on my freedoms, but I think there's a large contingency of people out there who, I mean, wouldn't mind it, but hey, like you said, them bills are stacking up, baby. And
you gonna get jumped for that. The wife's gonna jump you for that.
Yeah, and look, and we can't get no $20 million loan from the government and decide whether or not we pay it back.
Well, get in, man. Man, please, you know. What you do? Want me to go rob a bank or something?
well, you know what? That's what it would come down to. and that's what I'm saying. There's two sides of the quarantine, because you do have people that say, you know what, we need to do this for safety. And then we do have people that say, well, the system isn't set up like that. So as safe as we need to be, people still have to pay for things. And so I think that's the quandary right there that we are, that's the divergence that we're seeing. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
You know, if we ain't working, we gonna get jumped. The wife, she gonna jump us. And okay, now if she ain't working, we gonna jump her.
Ain't no honey without no money.
She said, I can't do it. I can't. We can't do this thing alone.
It ain't gonna work. Okay, if you can't pay for the lights, you can't stay the night.
Yeah, I gotta keep the lights on so I can see her.
Yeah. You know what? That does tend to happen. Man. I understand it.
All these cows and horses around here, everybody gonna say they're gonna grow a garden, and and all that,
Man, people just watch TV.
Man, please.
All right, man.
We might
go ahead.
We might as well throw all the water in the door and let them throw the empty water back.
Ooh. Yeah, you know what? But I'm afraid, man. I don't think I'm quite ready, and that's because of getting so much conflicting information. We have so much conflicting information when it comes down to this. I don't know what to think. I really don't know what to think anymore. So, go ahead. Let me let you get the last word.
Okay, and these pawn shops, I think they're gonna be making money. Everybody be making money pawning their stuff.
Very observant man. Absolutely. I think the same thing, man. I appreciate the call.
All right, brother.
All right, you have a great evening. My main man, you there? Greeley, Mr. International Man of Entry.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So look, go ahead and give me some more things that were on your mind. And you said you had mixed thoughts. Let's unmix the bag. Go ahead. What else did you have on your mind? And then I'm gonna get into this story, that I think is quite interesting. Go ahead.
The whole topic of this coronavirus is another thing that's getting to me. The fact that they're targeting black folks, saying that African Americans are the most prevalent of having it. I'm not really buying into a lot of this area, man.
Okay.
And I do research, and that's a very prominent.
Go ahead. I can hear you again. Your phone had caught the coronas real quick, but you must have gave it that vaccine. But I can hear you. Go ahead.
No, I was transitioning to the Bluetooth in the vehicle. Once again, what I was saying was that there are a lot of prominent doctors that are speaking out against the whole dilemma of saying, hey, corona is this and that. And I'm starting to really look into it because it looks like you said it has a lot to do with a lot. I don't even think it's the Trump administration, but understand that the status quo of the deep state. You got to really do your due diligence and research what it's all about. And you would kind of say, wait a minute, Trump is not necessarily the bad guy. There are a lot of things happening to remove this guy from office. And there's every attempt and new approaches every day. And this is another extension of that approach. Because when he was downplaying it, saying it wasn't that significant, Nancy Pelosi was bashing him, but meanwhile, they got her on the wire going over to Chinatown saying, come out, it's okay. So then she got called out on the network about that. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of mixed political stuff going on. One side is trying to say it's Trump's fault. A lot of people are dying. Guess what? New York said, oh, we overestimated our concerns because of Dr. Fauci and Donald Trump. They told us it was going to be critical. Donald Trump has already called out Cuomo and said, you got more resources than you need, and now you're saying your numbers are down.
And they were talking, and with the beds, and with the number of ventilators, and with the mask. And I do remember he was saying, you guys are saying that you need more than you do. He even insinuated that maybe some of the workers was taking some home. He said, how you go from 30,000 to 300,000?
Right.
And look, and people got mad. But then, I had spoke about it a little bit, and I had got some people that sent me messages saying, hey, man, look, I got family that work at the hospital. Yeah, they took a little bit home from the family and for the family. And I do notice that people act like human nature isn't prevalent in these situations, because you have people saying, how dare he? How dare he talk about our healthcare workers as if they wasn't going to find out they needed these masks. See a whole bunch of masks, it wasn't going to put none in their purse. Human nature. We have people that got millions of dollars go out and steal from stores. People steal all the time, especially if they feel like it might be life or death. But go ahead, Greg.
And what about Gavin Newsom? He already forwarded $395 million to a Chinese company to make these protective masks for us over here in the nation, in the States. So think about it, man. It's a whole bunch of maneuvering going on that the people are asleep. They got us all focused on Corona and people dying in African Americans. See, they're brainwashing black folks. They want you to be scared and frightened. They want you to think that you're in jeopardy. They want you to think that you are the target. It's all predicated on hysteria and false information. It's fake. Fake, 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 fake. Ain't no more black people dying of this than no other race. It's fake, fake, fake.
Well, you know what? Like I said, I think a lot of the news depend on whose mouth it's coming out of, whether you believe it or not. But like I said, what we're going to do in this hour, I'm going to play a quick song, Greenland, and I'm going to come back, and we're going to actually dissect this. We're going to dissect who's pointing fingers, who said what was said by who, and I'm going to come straight down the middle, and I'm going to give it for what it is. And we're also going to talk about that. When Nancy Pelosi was down in Chinatown in San Francisco, we're going to talk about, her interview on Fox with Chris Wallace, and we're going to actually play it, and we're going to play her response, and we're going to juxtapose that in time with other people. So, you know what we like to do here, Greenland. We like to make sure that people are getting all sides of it, because I do believe there is a little bit of manipulation going on here in the media. Just a little bit. Well, a lot. So we're going to get to it. But hey, Greenland, go ahead and give me something else that you had on your mind. If there's anything else, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to come back and get to that. Go ahead. What other thoughts you got?
Okay, and another little sidebar we have right here. This is a very, very important piece right here.
Look, wait. The mad scientist, Delvin, the expert, he says, whoever is selling the panic is usually also selling the pill. Go ahead, Greenland.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with Delvin on that part. Also, why would doctors be instructed to say, no matter what you die of, to put on your death certificate COVID-19? Why would a doctors? There are doctors saying, why am I being told to do this?
Well, to me, it seems like it would be to run up the numbers. And that's just me sitting here thinking about it. Tony says, showed up. That's just me sitting here thinking it seems like it would be to run up the numbers. And there are plenty of benefits in running up the numbers. There's benefits in running up the numbers regardless, especially if you're a state. The higher the numbers, the more money. And
Exactly.
It is what it is.
Precisely.
As far as the media, the higher numbers, the more depth, the more sensationalism. The more sensationalism, the more people are going to watch and the more people are going to gravitate to it. These are just things that they play on and these are things they know. Hey, Greelin, I'm going to give you the last word and I'm going to take a break. Go ahead.
And not to mention that beating the drum out of all the bad news, it is all Donald Trump's fault because he moved too slow and too late on it all, which is not true. He reacted according to information that was coming to him. But they want to say, oh, he underreacted is why we have this gigantic loss of life. And I don't even think our loss of life is really that big of a number compared to the rest of the world. It's not.
Well, you know what? I think he did underreact, but I don't think he's the only one that underreacted. And that's what we're going to cover.
Okay, we can cover that.
All right. Hey, Greelin, I appreciate the call, Mr. International Man of Intrigue. In fact, I'm going to squeeze one more in before the break. Thanks for the call, Greelin. I appreciate it, man.
All right, man.
All right. 12:30 The Source. This is Soapbox Heroes. What's on your mind? Last caller before the break.
Okay, everybody hold up.
All right, we hold on. Hold up. Go ahead.
Hold up. I'm trying to call it back, right?
Okay.
We don't block for him, okay? don't block for him. Let him tear his behind up.
So you saying don't block for him? Just let him get hit.
Yeah, let him get hit.
Man, look, I say don't block for nobody that's letting us get hit. Nobody.
All right.
All right, break. All right, I appreciate it, man. Oh, man, yeah, we were talking earlier. He said how people be in huddles talking, and so he had to call back and say, you know what? We came back from that huddle, and I decided that we're going to go ahead and not block for this guy. Look, we'll be right back. This is 12:30 The Source. My name is Tyrone Irvin, and hey, you guys, look. Don't let your feathers be ruffled too much. Don't get all boiling hot. You know what I mean? You got to make sure that you keep in mind that you want to do it for the cool in you. I'll be right back. This is Soapbox Heroes. Yeah, we had them battling yesterday. You guys see that battle yesterday, that versus battle? I thought it was a good battle. Teddy Riley and Babyface. And everybody that just wanted to give Babyface the win. I'm going with Teddy. Teddy was more versatile. I need to get Wi-Fi. I'll be back. I wanted to hear this. Okay, Canada Fitness, ECS target therapy. All right. Let us know about that. Yeah, you guys see it? Oh, you missed it? It was a good one. But look, Babyface got that cool factor. You know what I'm saying? Babyface got on there smooth. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, what I'm getting, they like Babyface smooth factor. Babyface got that I'm too cool for school. This is for the cool in you. Who won? Man, it was close. They had some more technical difficulties as far as like connection. They've been trying to figure out how to get their sound right, but they calling the wrong people. I don't know. I would say that Teddy won because I think Teddy Riley was more versatile in the music that he made. Babyface was versatile, but the stuff that he made that was similar to the stuff that he made that was like getting with Teddy was stuff that was almost like Teddy's same style. almost like he got it from Teddy. Yeah, I thought Teddy was better. Yeah, I thought Teddy did a good job. Let me see how much time I got. Yeah, they inspired me to play some Teddy and some Babyface today. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Babyface did his thing. He did his thing. How much time I got in this song? I'm doing a better job at remembering to turn down the music. All right, let's see. All right, we back. All right, we are back. This is Soapbox Heroes. Soapbox Heroes on the break. I was talking to my man Delvin, the expert. He is over here in the YouTube comments, in the YouTube streets. Delvin, thank you for getting over there in the YouTube streets and holding it down for your boy, man. You know that everybody don't got friends like you, man. Thank you for holding it down for me over there. If you guys haven't, if you're listening on terrestrial radio, when you get a chance, go over to the Soapbox Heroes channel on YouTube and hit subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. It's a little bell, and you tap it and then tap all, so you can be notified when we go live, because we do other things besides this, and it's more than just me. So you'll get more content than I could possibly just give you here in 2 hours, and you can catch the show if you ever want to repeat it, run it back, and do it again. What they say, select, rewind. I don't think that's what they say, but I'm going to say it anyway. So I'm going to move on in the topic at hand. And earlier we were talking about, the handling of the coronavirus, and we got into some callers' thoughts about whose fault it was and what's going on with the current pandemic. And what I want to do is something I want to go back. And I want to start looking at statements that people were giving. I want to start, going through some of these rumors and things like that, so we can get through it. And so I got some things, I always wanted, what do they call them? Receipts? They be like, I got my receipts. All right. And so I want to talk about, when they talk about the response to coronavirus, I often hear people say, well, Donald Trump was calling it a hoax. He called it a hoax. And so I said, okay, well, I think that's a good starting point, because if we have a president that's out here something on the magnitude of a pandemic, a hoax, of course it's going to give people the perception that this is not serious. And so I said that's a good starting point right there. And again, I want to do this because political season is in our face as the November election comes closer and closer to us. We are going to have politicians using the coronavirus pandemic as a reason to say not to vote for somebody else. They're all going to talk about their response and somebody else's lack thereof. And so what I would like us to do is be informed on who's lying, who said what, when, who said what, when, so we can't just be politicked. We can do the politicking. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start right there. I'm going to start with this. I went over to Snopes, and sometimes I do think Snope can have sometimes a bit of a political bend, but that's more in the commentary after. And Snopes, what they are is a fact-checking site. And so I have found them to be pretty credible when it comes down to the actual fact in the first place. But then they'll go on and they'll recite reasons for their answer. And so I'm going to get into that. Did Donald Trump fire the U.S. pandemic response team? Because we've heard that a lot, and we've seen it on social media, and we've seen memes. And so I think this is something that we need to break down. So we're going to go over to Snopes, and it says claim the Trump administration fired the U.S. pandemic response team to cut costs. True. All right, this is true. Amid warnings from public health officials that 2020 outbreak of new coronavirus could soon become a pandemic involving the U.S., alarmed readers asked Snope to verify the rumors that the U.S. President Donald Trump had fired the entire pandemic response team 2 years ago and didn't replace them. The claim came from a series of tweets posted by Judd and a newsletter he describes as being about politics and power. All right? About politics and power. So that is something that I wanted to get out of the way. I thought it was important to get that out of the way. So yes, Donald Trump did fire the pandemic response team. And just so we can have clear answers, we don't have to go through a whole bunch of guessing. Is this true? Is that not true? So we're going through it. So we went ahead and parsed through that. All right. And now we're going to get over, because now you hear a lot of people, they say, well, Donald Trump said that the coronavirus was a hoax. All right. That's something that we hear very often. So we've already covered firing the pandemic response team to save money and not replacing them. So we know that that is something that was done. We know that unequivocally. You guys can look that up on Snopes if you guys want to fact check it. That's SNOPES. And there's other fact checking sites as well if you want to fact check it. That's a fact. All right. And so then I want to move on. Did President Donald Trump refer to the coronavirus as a hoax? And then it says fact check, politics. Trump commentary on the new coronavirus came before the virus began killing patients in the U.S. All right, we're going to scroll down. All right, and now it says the claim, because they always give a claim. The claim, U.S. President Donald Trump referred to the new coronavirus as a hoax. And then whether it's a lie or not, it says it's a mixture. It's a mixture. It says during a February 28, 2020 campaign rally in South Carolina, President Donald Trump liked Democrats' criticism. Whoa. Donald Trump likened the Democrats' criticism of his administration response to the new coronavirus as to their efforts to impeach him, saying this is their new hoax during the speech. He also seemed to downplay the severity of the outbreak, comparing it to the flu. Okay. And so right here we see they say it's a mixture, but they say Donald Trump on February 28, 2020 campaign rally, President Donald Trump likened Democrats' criticism of his administration's response to the new coronavirus outbreak to their efforts to impeach him. So right here, no, he didn't say that it was a hoax. He's saying that his response was a hoax. And so when we hear that rumor out there, that's not true. He did not say the coronavirus is a hoax. And we're going to go a little bit above and beyond that. We're going to go a little bit above and beyond that. I dug into the archives and I actually got the speech. It was a campaign rally. It was a campaign rally in South Carolina where they saying Donald Trump called the coronavirus a hoax. See, what we're doing right now is we're dispelling memes and things that you see that may not be true. And so I'm going to play the audio from that so we can hear it.
Now the Democrats are politicizing the coronavirus. You know that, right? Coronavirus. They're politicizing it. We did one of the great jobs. You say, how's President Trump doing? They go, oh, not good, not good. They have no clue. They don't have any clue. They can't even count their votes in Iowa. They can't even count. No, they can't. And this is their new hoax. But, we did something that's been pretty amazing.
See, he says this is their new hoax. He's talking about the Democrats the same way that he called the impeachment or Russiagate a hoax. He calls everything's a hoax. Now, whether Russiagate was a hoax or not, that's up for your discrepancy to figure out. Robert Mueller gave his report, and it's there to read. And you can also download the Mueller report on Audible if you ever want to listen to it, if you don't have time to thumb through it and read it. And I've listened to it. It's very interesting. But again, and so that's why I wanted to play that. And I'm going to play a little bit more after just so we could get more context. And we are going to get to these callers real quick. But here, let me play just a little bit more. I'm going to go back and play some just because I like to make sure we have context. Because what people are saying is, well, he called coronavirus a hoax. He's calling it a hoax. And what he said was, this is another Democratic hoax. And when he was saying that, he was talking about the way they are talking about his response. And we're going to touch on the response. But go ahead. Go ahead, Trump.
Oh, not good, not good. They have no clue. They don't have any clue. They can't even count their votes in Iowa. They can't even count. No, they can't. And this is their new hoax. But, we did something that's been pretty amazing. We're 15 people in this massive country. And because of the fact that we went early, we could have had a lot more than that. We will do everything in our power to keep the infection and those carrying the infection from entering our country. We have no choice.
Conversation with Secretary Mnuchin.
All right, we are back. 12:30, the source caller. What's on your mind about what you just heard? What you think?
Man, it was great.
What's going on with you, Marcelino the Great?
I think Trump's real funny.
Okay, you got some back feed going on.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
So I think Trump is a real fan. You know what I'm saying? He say so much stuff. Talk freely. Just watching this. Want to sit up there and tell, the funny thing is they did something on PBS. I pay attention to PBS a lot. You know what I'm saying? PBS takes you around the world and stuff. So I'm telling you, they just showed on PBS that the China where the stuff started at, the infection and stuff, they let them back up and, everybody heard that China had forward their incident. Some of the same people that was infected the first time is infected again. So, what do you mean? How do you explain that? Now you're trying to rush to put this United States back up, like giving the governors the opportunity to let them run what they want to run and let them up or how they want to let them up. What happens when the people get infected again?
Well, you know what? I think they're so worried about getting people back out there because they don't want to cut no more checks. I think they spend so much money on the corporations they can't afford the people no more. But hey, Marcelino, here, let you get the last word, and I'm gonna go on to the next caller. We got a few callers, and I want to make sure we get this all in. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is to stay close to them. Stay close to them because you being a smoke screen. They got a smoke screen for you. And you know, and something else going on behind the scenes because all of them are not on the same page right now. You got the governor saying one thing, you got Trump saying another, and then you got the doctor Anthony Fauci or some things named Fauci or something. He's saying,
Yeah.
do not let it up like you want to let it up.
Well, see, the thing that confuses me about Fauci is he stands there. It seems like he agreed with Trump when he's there in front of him. Then he goes on other shows and he doesn't directly disagree, but he insinuates things. And to me, that's a coward. If you disagree with the man, disagree with the man. If you don't think that's the way the country should go, just say it. Say, I don't think we're ready. I think he's making a mistake. And because if he's just tap dancing, he's no better to me. But go ahead, let me let you get the last word and get to the next call.
Man, look, man, you gotta understand that dude. Anthony's a doctor, man. You gotta understand that dude's been around in that type of regime with the presidents for a long time. You know, this ain't the first time he just been a part of that regime. So it's more to it.
It's not. He's been around for a long time. He's been through other presidents and things like that. But hey, Marcelino, let me jump to the next caller real quick, man.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate you. 1230 The Source. What's on your mind, caller?
Hello?
Hello. How you doing? This is 1230 The Source. You on Soapbox Heroes. What you got?
Look here. He swore on the Bible, man. That, you know, when you sworn in, he swear to God he protect this man, and he's gonna turn around looking at all this money. He want to turn on us, man.
Who gonna turn on us?
Trump.
Well, there's a lot of people who say he's already turned. Go ahead.
Hey, I want to add this, man. Y'all quit going to McDonald's. Donald Trump, right? McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Donald Trump. What if he pop up at the back room? May I take your order?
Oh man, there's gonna be a lot of people that throw that burger back at him, and then there's gonna be, but there's gonna be a lot of people that gladly take that burger as well. But hey. Go ahead. Let me let you get the last word. I'm going to take this last call. We're going to jump back into the story because I do want to show another side of it. Go ahead.
What if they start messing with his money like he messing with ours? They're gonna start messing with his money when he got office.
You know what? Who? It depends because big money seems like they're all taken up for big money at this point in time. Like I said, we even got people coming out there talking about the CARE Act, but they all voted for it. And now they're pointing at it saying things were bad. But they knew it was like that when they voted for it. I don't know. I think it's a lot of show.
God will give it to you. And he gonna take it, he will take it back from you.
What is given can be taketh away. All right.
Take it back. And he'll take it back. And he gonna wonder what happened.
Oh man. I don't know if he's gonna wonder.
Well, why me? You know, and then why us? You know?
Absolutely. Hey, man, thank you for the call. Let me take this last caller before we dive back into it. I appreciate the call. 1230 The Source. This is Soapbox Heroes. What's on your mind, caller?
On the song with Tyrone.
Hey, what's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm feeling with my left and my right hand. My brother was feeling good.
Well, you know what? That's better than a whole lot of people, man. Something to smile about. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Oh, man, we just listen to everybody, man, giving their opinion, man. You know, when he first, it's just like anything else he do at a rally. He blamed everybody else. You know, when you look back at it, this turn out there, so he got rid of the department that was handling that stuff. Yeah,
and you see, what we're doing is we're breaking all that down. So we went through and we broke that down. It's a fact. And so, if somebody come and say that's not a fact, we broke that down to a fact. He did dismantle the pandemic response team to save money. That's a fact. That's a fact.
And he was thinking that this going to be like Ebola or the SARS disease, or he thought it was going to be like that.
Right.
But, this was written in the Word. You look back at how Becca, Michael, And you look back at Amos, it was told back then that something was coming.
Right.
And here it is. We never had nothing like this before in life.
Right. And another thing that I do notice though is he does want to take the adulation, and again, we spoke about this earlier, but he wants to put give the states power to where he can give them the blame. And I think that's another thing that he does as a cop-out. But this is my thing, and I rail on this a lot. I don't think that he was the only one who was downplaying it. And that's what we're going to get to next, too, because I think this is something that's become a political football. When he says that, I do think that part is true from what I'm noticing, because we do look up the point to where it says that Donald Trump referred to the coronavirus as a hoax. He didn't. He was talking about how the Democrats are trying to make him look, as far as his response, is another hoax. And we have people trying to twist that as saying, well, he called it a hoax. And so we see people twisting the story on both sides. And again, like the pandemic response team, I had to lay that out because I had somebody tell me, Tyrone, that's false. He didn't dismantle them. That's just the media lying. And so we breaking it down. But what do you think about how we got both sides not telling the truth?
Man, everything that Mr. Obama did, even when he was in office, what they say, we're going to make it a one-term president. They couldn't do that. So when he got in office, first thing he did was start dismantling everything he could, and anything he thought he was big and bad enough to dismantle, he did.
Well, you're 100% right, and I think that is one of the things we lose focus on when we talk about Donald Trump. It was the dismantling of something another president put in before you, and it seemed like so much of it was just based on vitriol, not really any deep consideration of the fallout or the ramifications of what may happen. And I think those are the personality flaws we have to look at when we're talking about personality flaws. Is this guy going to dismantle something that's good for us? Go ahead.
This is my last word, Tyrone. You never once have you heard that man say we're going to pray for this country, for the world. Never once have you heard that man say that. My last word, brother.
Well, you know what? 1 Corinthians says, you remember when he called it 1 Corinthians, so we knew right then he wasn't spending too much time in the house of the Lord.
His Lord is king of hot.
Yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, I think a lot of their lords is money. And again, I don't think it's just him. I do think we focus the most on him. Yeah, I think it's money. But hey, man, I appreciate the call. I'm gonna dive back into this story a little bit. Hey, you see, you made the ad. You made the caller drop ad. So you so you on the radio all the time, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, my brother, the source.
12:30 the source, absolutely. And there you guys, and I love getting feedback from the callers and stuff, because we can be educated by what each other think. We can learn from each other. We can even learn perspectives. And when you hear other perspectives, when you hear something, it's not the first time you've heard it. And so you're not taken aback. All these things aren't, brand new to you. And so here, let me run it. We got 15 minutes, and so we're going to run it down. So we're talking about what happened as far as the pandemic. Who turned a blind eye? Who acted like it didn't matter? And we started with Donald Trump. And so I started with the pandemic response team. And yes, 2 years ago, he did dismantle the pandemic response team, and he didn't put it back together. That's fact number 1. And now we move on to fact number 2. So then I decided, the next point to move to was this other thing where I hear they say Donald Trump called the coronavirus a hoax. And then so we go and we look it up, and I actually pulled up the audio and played the audio. So if you're just tuning in, you missed the audio, but I played the audio, and he didn't say the coronavirus was a hoax. He said the Democrats trying to point out his response was another hoax, like Russiagate. So he wasn't saying that it was a hoax. Not at all. We just have to be honest about that. Now, he did downplay it some and say, liken it to the flu. And so now that's where we're going to go ahead and we're going to move over here. And we have Nancy Pelosi talking to Chris Wallace the other day. And this is the question that came up because, like I said, they're pointing at each other now saying, well, they weren't taking, he's saying, Donald Trump saying, well, they weren't taking it serious. The Democrats weren't. Well, I closed the border to China. The Democrats were telling people that it wasn't serious. And so I got something I want to play for, because we have to parse through these things. They're going to be pointing at each other, and we need to know who exactly is lying.
As you are right now, have been very critical of President Trump, especially for what you say is the time that he lost initially in January and February in responding to the virus. But I want to point out that on February 24th, you went on a walking tour of Chinatown to try to promote tourism there. And here's some of what you had to say.
That's what we're trying to do today, is to say everything is fine here. Come, because precautions have been taken. We think it's very safe to be in Chinatown and hope that others will come.
All right, now, she says she thinks it's very safe in Chinatown and she thinks other people should come. Now, this is Nancy Pelosi, right? So we heard what Donald Trump had to say. He didn't call it a hoax, but he did play it down, liking it to the flu. He did like it to the flu. And this is at the same very time Nancy Pelosi is in San Francisco telling people to come on down, come on down. It's open out here. The market is good. Come on down. But I want you guys to listen to her reasoning. And then we're going to break that down because we got to know who's telling us the truth. I don't care what side you want. Come on, Nancy, keep talking.
If the president underplayed the threat in the early days, Speaker Pelosi, didn't you as well?
No, what we're trying to do is to end the discrimination, the stigma that was going out against the Asian American community. And in fact, if you will look, the record will show that our Chinatown has been a model of containing and preventing the virus. So I'm confident in our folks there and thought it was necessary to offset some of the things that the president and others were saying about Asian Americans and making them a target of violence across the country. In fact, some hate crimes.
But forgive me, don't you think that when you're out walking without any mask, I understand this is February, not April when this happened, and saying that there's no threat, it's perfectly safe there, weren't you also adding to this perception that there wasn't such a threat generally?
No, I was saying that you should not discriminate against Chinese Americans.
Now remember, she's saying when she was out there walking, her message wasn't that it was okay. It wasn't that you should come and do here. She said it twice. She said her message was that Asian Americans shouldn't be discriminated on. I want you guys to remember that. Listen to that closely. Play it one more time, then I got something else.
Really?
No, I was saying that you should not discriminate against Chinese Americans, as some in our administration were doing by the way they were labeling the flu and that. No, indeed. And again, I think if you check the record and it's current, you will see that Chinatown has been a model in all of them.
Oh, she said, check the record. We gon' check the record, Nancy. You should have known that Soapbox Heroes was going to check the record. And so we're going to go back to that press conference that day, and we're going to listen to what she had to say. This was February 24th. Now, she's saying that Donald Trump didn't take it seriously. And again, we listened to his rally, and I do think he wasn't taking it as seriously as he should have for the time. He was downplaying it, liking it to the flu, things like that, before having the proper information to be able to do so. But my point is this. Nancy Pelosi just said that when she was in Chinatown, she was there because she wanted to talk about people discriminating against the Asian American community like people in the administration. Now, you guys know I like to play Back to the Future. So we are going to go back to that day, and we're going to listen to what she said on that day. This is her on February 24th. This is the news story from ABC 7 in San Francisco.
A large portion of Chinatown had lost power. That didn't deter Speaker Nancy Pelosi from taking a walk to talk to merchants who had seen a drop in business due to fear of being exposed to coronavirus.
I'm here. We feel safe and sound, so many of us coming here. Just not only say it's safe, but to say thank you.
She said, I'm here to say that I feel safe and sound. Okay. And she's talking about, why would she be saying she feels safe and sound? Not for discrimination. She's not Asian American. So what discrimination is Nancy Pelosi going to feel? She's not talking about discrimination, but here, let me play it. Let me play some more, because remember what she said to Chris Wallace. She said, I wasn't downplaying it. No. I was only there because I wanted to talk about how Asian Americans were being discriminated against. But let's see if she brings that up when she speaks that day.
Being exposed to coronavirus.
I'm here. We feel safe and sound, so many of us coming here. Just not only say it's safe, but to say thank you for being Chinatown.
At the Golden Gate Fortune Cookie Factory, the owner acknowledged sales have fallen by hundreds of dollars per day. No one here, though, is sick or wearing face masks.
We want people to care about our small businesses and our survival here. And hopefully they'll take heart.
Okay, you guys can't see, but that's a business owner. And what she's doing is taking tours of businesses and encouraging people to come back to those businesses, not for discrimination, but because people were afraid of the coronavirus. They were afraid of the coronavirus, so they stopped going out. And this was in Chinatown. Now, you might ask yourself, why would Chinatown be afraid of the coronavirus in advance of everyone else? Well, because Chinatown, they're from China. They have relatives in China. They have a direct connection with China, who already had seen a scourge from coronavirus, which means if my people at the house is already telling me that this is a problem, that means I need to take precautions. I'm going to stop going out. So again, this is a business owner speaking, and Nancy Pelosi is going to businesses trying to encourage business. I'm trying to hear this discrimination piece that she just threw in there. And the reason that I sound a little perturbed and bothered is because they always throw the discrimination piece in there. They throw the discrimination piece in there and we grab onto it and we hold it. Now that you know that she is clearly lying, let me see the lines light back up like they do when we know Donald Trump is clearly lying. I started off with something that he did. Dismantling the pandemic response team. Then we went on to something else that was, they said he called it a hoax, in which he wasn't talking about the coronavirus. And now we're talking about Nancy Pelosi, who clearly just lied to Chris Wallace. But here, let me play some more so you guys can hear whether she ever says anything about going down there for discrimination.
Safe and sound, so many of us coming here. Just not only say it's safe, but to say thank you for being Chinatown.
At the Golden Gate Fortune Cookie Factory, the owner acknowledged sales have fallen by hundreds of dollars per day. No one here, though, is sick or wearing face masks.
We want people to care about our small businesses and our survival here. And hopefully they'll take heart and come down here. We've got a lot of great places here for people to see.
The owner of the walk shop on Grant Avenue was thrilled when the speaker dropped in and bought a walk. The store has been in business for 52 years, and the power came back on during her visit, which was considered a good sign.
That was the best thing that you could do. It's safe. It's wonderful. We welcome everybody. Come, keep coming.
The walk ended with a stop for lunch at Dim Sum Corner with a contingent of Chinatown leaders. Mrs. Pelosi was critical of the president's proposal to cut $1 billion out of the Centers for Disease Control budget at a critical time as coronavirus containment remains uncertain. However, she expressed confidence in health leaders.
I trust Dr. Fauci at the National Institutes of Health, and he seems to have confidence in what we are doing.
The speaker said there's no reason for people to be in fear.
The speaker says there is no reason for people to be in fear. She was directly talking about She was directly talking about being in fear of the coronavirus. They were trying to get people to come down and spend money. And who agreed with her? Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci didn't see anything wrong in what they were doing. And so now we got the blame game. So now we have Donald Trump saying that Nancy Pelosi was downplaying it. And we have Nancy Pelosi saying that Donald Trump was downplaying it. And we just emphatically proved that they both were downplaying it. That they both were downplaying it. Now let me check your honesty meter. How honest can you be about that? Now, you heard her directly lie to Chris Wallace. Directly lie. She said that she was there. The only reason she was there was because people were being discriminated against. And that is not why she was there. That is not why she was there. In fact, I'm going to play that Chris Wallace piece again, just the end of it. And we got a caller, so we're going to get to the caller. But I'm going to play the end of this Chris Wallace piece so you guys can hear her. Exactly what she said about why she was there.
Out walking without any masks. I understand this is February, not April, when this happened, and saying that there's no threat, it's perfectly safe there. Weren't you also adding to this perception that there wasn't such a threat generally?
No, I was saying that you should not discriminate against Chinese Americans.
She never said that. And she did say that it was safe down there. That is a bold-faced lie. And I would love for the media to cover all these lies evenly.
As some in our administration were doing by the way they were labeling the flu and that. No, indeed. And again, I think if you check the record.
And we did. 1230 The Source. Caller, you are on the line. What is on your mind?
You know, I just had to call back for that one. You know, that was the biggest outright lie I've ever heard of, because that was so contradictory, because she pretty much threw herself out there. She was saying she was there for the marketing of it.
She was lying. She was lying. She was there, like you said, trying to market to get people to come back. It had nothing to do with people getting discriminated on. And that's what bothers me. They so easily throw the discrimination out there, and people are like, oh, she's talking about discrimination. She's lying. She's lying. And I'm waiting on, and see, when I talk about Donald Trump lying, the callers light up. The phones light up. I'm looking over here. This thing, there ain't no green light blinking when you point out how the other side will lie to your face the same way. And this is also something I wanted to bring out. 2 poll workers in Chicago died of the coronavirus. And I'm just trying to say, we're trying to see who took it seriously, right? And so we remember these poll workers, we're talking about March now. And so Joe Biden was urging people to go out and vote. He was urging the poll workers to get out there and man the polls. And he was saying all this stuff in March while the coronavirus was going on. But they're trying to just point the finger and only say that one side wasn't taking it serious. Joe Biden was so busy trying to secure power, get Bernie done, to where they said, you guys go ahead and go out there. And now we have had 2 people directly die from working the polls and getting coronavirus that day. Why isn't anybody talking about this stuff, Greela?
You know, it's ironic to me that our African American people are so well solicited using race card. And the thing about it is, we're unwillingly participating in letting people wave the race carrot in front of our faces all the time, and we swallow it up. It's like Bugs Bunny, he used to eat carrots, and we're eating bushels of carrots because they keep throwing it at us, and we're just eating it up. We got to get over that, man. Stop letting people tell you when to scream raced. You could hear that the lady used the race card for her narrative at the time, even though she lied.
She directly lied. And she's not the only one. She's not the only one, but this is, I only had time to break down her, but nah, she's not the only to get in the last word. So you had to call back on that one.
I had to call back. Also, I noticed you said that your lines were just ice cold just now. Nobody called to rebut and say, "Yeah, you got me that time."
We got one blinking line. We got one blinking line. I don't know what they're gonna say, but we have one blinking line. But I just want to know, where are the people to acknowledge that she lied? We showed it, and this isn't a taking sides thing. I'm just going down the line, and we're going to figure out what was true and what was false. That's what I like to do. And so, again, dismantling the pandemic response team, all true. Him calling it a hoax, all false. You see? Go ahead.
As far as him dismantling that pandemic response team, nobody knows but the man above if it would have made a difference or not. We really can't say because the premise is to say that by him dismantling it, he didn't move enough. But in his eyes, even though I didn't have it, I still made the same decision I would have done had I had the panel, because the panel just would have did recommendation. He followed Fauci's recommendation, so I really don't see the significance in that. I don't. The fact that it's dismantled, no one can say for certain it would have made a difference.
Hey, I don't know if it would have made a difference or not, but I do know that he dismantled it. You know, my thing is we're just going over trying to figure out what's true, what's not. You know, because a lot of people are saying things that are just patently false. And so I say, hey, we might as well go ahead and get some understanding on what's going on here. But go ahead, Greenland. Let me let you get the last word, and we're going to jump to the last caller before we get out of here.
Yes, sir. Like I said again, I mean, it's all predicated around a bunch of lies and politics. Politics is a game, and you got to take it like what it is, man. Each side is going to have X amount of content of lies. You got to do your research, your due diligence, and dissect it all. That's my final word.
Absolutely, Greenland. I appreciate that.
All right.
All right. 1230 The Source. You are the last caller on the line.
Right.
Go ahead.
How you doing, brother?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Okay, you can't handle the truth.
I'm trying to handle it. Give it to me.
Because every time that clown says something that come out of his mouth that's a lie, Trump supporters try to make it so good that, he didn't mean that. He didn't know what he was saying. They'll keep babysitting that clown. Look, man, babysitting is over. He's off the mama titty. He ain't no titty no more.
Did Nancy Pelosi lie about her going to San Francisco and downplaying it? She said that she was there. She said on Sunday or the other day to Chris Wallace that she was there trying to, bring awareness to people, bullying the Asian community, and that she wasn't down there, trying to spur business on. Did she lie?
I think our politicians lied.
No. Yes or no? Did Nancy Pelosi directly lie?
Reason why I can't comment on that, brother, because I didn't see that.
Oh, all right, hold on. You want me to play it for you?
Yeah,
I got it.
Good. Okay.
All right, here I'll play you, Chris Wallace, and then after that, and only because it's you, we gonna go a little past the time, and I'll play what she said to Chris Wallace.
Okay, brother.
And then I will play what she said that day. And so you know what? And so here, we'll spend our last 4 minutes doing that. Here we go. Let me play.
Okay.
As you are right now, have been very critical of President Trump, especially for what you say is the time that he lost initially in January and February in responding to the virus. But I want to point out that on February 24th, you went on a walking tour of Chinatown to try to promote tourism there. And here's what you had to say.
That's what we're trying to do today, is to say everything is fine here. Come, because precautions have been taken. We think it's very safe to be in Chinatown and hope that others will come.
If the president underplayed the threat in the early days, Speaker Pelosi, didn't you as well?
No, what we're trying to do is to end the discrimination, the stigma that was going out against the Asian American community. And in fact, if you will look, the record will show that our Chinatown has been a model of containing and preventing the virus. So I'm confident in our folks there and thought it was necessary to offset some of the things that the president and others were saying about Asian Americans and making them a target of violence across the country. In fact, some hate crimes.
Forgive me, don't you think that when you're out walking without any mask, I understand this is February, not April when this happened, and saying that there's no threat, it's perfectly safe there, weren't you also adding to this perception that there wasn't such a threat generally?
No, I was saying that you should not discriminate against Chinese Americans, as some in our administration were doing by the way they were labeling the flu and that. No, indeed. And again, I think if you check the record, and that's current, you will see that that Chinatown has been a model in all of this. And that's what we're saying. Look to them for answers. Don't look to them to place blame.
All right.
As you are right now, have been.
All right. You heard it right there in town, because she wanted to talk about how they were being discriminated against. That's what she told Chris Wallace. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to play a press conference from that day, and we're going to see if she ever mentions discrimination one time or if she was just using that with Chris Wallace. Now, let's listen to it.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited the area today to try and get the word out that shoppers are safe. KPX5's Andre Barba, they're live right now.
Wait, you see the news? They said Nancy Pelosi went out today to let people know that shopping is safe. They're not talking about safe from you getting beat up. They're talking about safe from the coronavirus.
Andrea?
Okay, well, Alan and Veronica, we've been out here for a few weeks reporting on the downtick in business here in San Francisco's Chinatown, even around the time of Lunar New Year, when the streets around here should have been packed. They were relatively empty. Now, local business leaders are hoping that this injection of confidence from a national leader will bring tourists and locals alike back. The sidewalk of Grant Avenue in San Francisco's Chinatown hasn't been this packed in weeks. Flanked by Chinatown leaders Florence and John Fang, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi toured businesses and restaurants in the neighborhood.
Our business is very, very honored.
Shop owners say business is off by 75 to 80% because of fears over the coronavirus.
Well, we've been hearing that before the visit, and that's why I thought it was urgent to make the visit.
The owner of the Golden Gate Fortune Cookie Company, Kevin Chan, says the effect on the bottom line of his Ross Alley business is real.
$200 a day, like $500-600 a day. That makes a big impact because
even tourists know quiet in the neighborhood.
This place is dead right now. I mean, every restaurant is empty. Every shop is empty. There's no tourists walking around here.
The speaker is urging people to come out again and not be afraid.
Also to say to everyone, you should come to Chinatown. Actions have been taken by our city. We know that there's a concern about tourism traveling all throughout the world, but we think it's very safe to be in Chinatown and hope that others will come.
While there are 21 active cases.
All right, so there you have it right there. What you think?
Okay, are you ready for the truth?
I'm sitting down. Should I stand up? Here, let me put it on. All right, seatbelt is on. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you.
Tell me.
I'm gonna start from right here.
Let's start.
Sylvester Turner, the mayor of Houston, he took 58 of his employees to Chinatown when Donald Trump tried to blame the virus on the Chinese bringing it to America. And so he right there, y'all, we try to blame somebody on something because he's stupid.
But anyway, did Nancy Pelosi lie? Did she lie?
No, she didn't lie. Let me tell you why she didn't lie. She didn't lie because she only told what she saw. She saw the place was almost vacant. But,
I know, but this is what I'm saying. When that original statement was in February, where she said it was. Listen, and then when she said she was there to talk about combating discrimination, she said that this week. She didn't say that when she was there. And we watched two separate news reports, and neither news report mentioned anything about discrimination. She said, come do business.
Bring it to reality. See, what come out the president's mouth, it really do count. But he don't believe that. He think he just run off at the mouth like he just on the call.
See the Speaker of the House, what she says don't count.
He's the president of the United States, and what he said, he tried to blame it on the Chinese, and then some Chinese had gotten beat up in New York and all kinds of things when they said that.
All right, so you're not gonna just say that Nancy Pelosi lied.
No, I ain't gonna say she lied.
All right.
She spoke what she saw from the top.
Then she did speak what she presumably knew. But when it came down to the current time where they asked her about that, then she didn't say, oh, that was the information I had. She lied. She said, I was there for, discrimination because the administration was pushing discrimination. And that was a clear lie. That is not she was there. She was there because business was low because people were afraid of the coronavirus. Out of her own mouth. Out of her own mouth then.
Yeah, that's true. Well, okay. When you got a president that say the Chinese brought the coronavirus here, which is a lie. It was a businessman from New York. I know it very clearly. Like all the people in New York, they from Rome, they from Spain, they from Europe. So what they do every year is a habit. They go home. And so what happened, these people went home, they brought it back, okay? They brought it back. And so when they brought it back, it blew out of proportion because, Times Square, you've seen Times Square before. You can't see the sidewalk for people. And so, and they all breathing on each other, so they ran crazy. They ran wild.
They brought it from Europe. Hey, I you know what? I can't be precise on where it came from, but apparently it did come from somewhere.
Yeah, it came from China, but they went home.
But I want to know. I want to know why you will not say that Nancy Pelosi lied when you clearly heard her lie.
Well, see, like you might say tomatoes, I might say tomatoes.
Oh, we don't do that.
You see what I'm saying, brother?
I see what you're saying. Hey, man, we passed time. I got to run, so I appreciate the call. Love you too, man. Thank you. Great call as usual.
Okay.
Love it when you call. Thank you.
Okay, brother.
All right. Hey, you guys, look, we got to get out of here. We are out of time, unfortunately. I'll be here tomorrow, same place, same time. Days that I am missing, it is because I have had these essential jobs to do, and they are over the evening, sometimes far away, sometimes close. And so that's why sometimes I am not here, but just like everything else, they drying up. So, hey, you guys, this is Soapbox Heroes. My name is Tyrone Irvin. I had a wonderful, wonderful time sitting with you guys today. Everybody on Instagram, everybody on YouTube. Tony M., thanks for tuning in, Tony. Betty Booz. Oh, definitely the mad scientist. Everybody over there, everybody that tuned in and tapped in, and especially everybody out here on terrestrial radio right here. 12:30 The Source, you guys. Look, I'll be back tomorrow, and like I said, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. Don't let the quarantine whip you. You whip the quarantine. 12:30 The Source. Caller, what's on your mind?
The phone with Tyrone.
On the phone. All right, y'all. What's going on with you?
Hey, this is
Hey, we got 9 thumbs up. That's more than usual. Hey, y'all. Y'all hear Nancy Pelosi was lying. But people don't want to just say she was lying.
I'm working, and
I'm listening to her lie. Y'all heard her lie. Just lie. And I got a whole bunch more. We ran out of time. They all lying. All of them were negligent. All of them. What would I do?
It's The Source, baby.
It's The
12:30
Source.
The Source.
Yep, it's 12:30 The Source. All right, y'all. Hey, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I might go jump online a little bit tonight. That battle, who won the battle? Did Teddy Riley win the battle, or did Teddy Riley or did Babyface win it? I've been going back and forth with music tonight. Babyface and Teddy Riley. I got the Teddy playing now. You dug in that bag. No, is that Babyface? No, that's Teddy, right? Yeah, that's Teddy. I say it. Nancy lied, Trump lied, Ann lied, Ted lied, Chuck lied. They all lied. Thank you, Tom. They all lied. Hey, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Look, if you on my team and you lying, I need to know too. So I can keep you away from my locker so you don't be up in my wallet. Have me have to come after you. But hey, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate everybody coming through. Thanks for hitting the like button. We moving. We trying to get some more subscribers. It is hard out here on these YouTube streets. All right, Tom. I'll see you tomorrow.